Hello fam and welcome back to my channel. So today is a little more casual than you've seen me before. Mostly because it's been a couple weeks of processing for me. It's been a year of lockdown as I thought about the last time I was in a group of people without a mask. As I thought about the last trip that I took, how I was celebrating my friend who had just defended his dissertation. So I've been thinking about all of that, all the dressing up that I did. I'll show you all some pictures. So it's just been a big processing time for me as I think about how much life changed in March of 2020. So as I thought about this, I thought about the processing that I don't know about you, but I've been processing a lot these last couple weeks as we moved into the middle of March, which is where the US lockdown started. And I just wanted it to be a comfortable time with us together. Hopefully you usually feel that. But I wanted it to be just a little bit less formal. I have my lovely tie-dye shirt. You know, tie-dye is making a comeback. And my mom gave me this shirt. So I just wanted us to be comfortable together. I've been sitting today and this week in silence, just thinking about the last year and processing and what I've learned and what it's meant for me and what it'll mean moving forward. And I just wanted us to have a comfy, cozy time. So my last event that I was at without wearing a mask was my friend's dissertation defense. So you all know I've lived in Iowa for 4 years now, and I had driven to Colorado because I just wanted, with all the stuff that was coming up, it was like the beginning, and I had just flown to Tennessee for a conference. So I was getting back from Nashville, and I wanted to get to his defense because I knew I wouldn't get to his graduation. So I drove to Colorado. We went to the defense. He defended and all of that. And then I drove back to Iowa, and I never went back to my office. I did, but it was after hours, but I never went back during regular time because then we were work from home from that time on. So I've been looking back at those pictures of me with no mask and with other people, and it looks so strange after what it's been like this past year. I have done some in-person events with the students that I work with, but there hasn't been many. And of course, we're all masked up because that's a requirement on campus. And then if you're coming to the event, so just been processing that. Once I got back to Iowa, um, I'd never worked from home. I never been at home so much. So I found myself in the first couple weeks very bored. And for the fun of it, I was dressing up. So I had one celebrity week. I had someone on a social media site had done like a kind of like a spirit week. So one week was like sock day, one was or pajama day, one was twin day, and um my friend in Maryland actually was my twin for that day. There was also Christmas in July, or Christmas in March. It wasn't July. Told you we're gonna be very chill today in this video. So yeah, so I was dressing up on all these things. And I hadn't even got on TikTok yet. So, I was keeping myself occupied. So looking back on those pictures and thinking, I mean, I think a lot of us were thinking this is only gonna last a couple weeks. We'll be fine. And lo and behold, over 365 days later, here we are. So for me, once I got past those kind of fun days, the spirit days, and I did a celebrity week, and again, I'll show you all some pictures in a little bit. Um, then the isolation started hitting in. I live alone, um, and it was already hard for me, being in Iowa and not really socializing too much. Um, but the isolation started to hit. Um, and I had to really process that. And um, I was already in therapy because I believe in therapy. I believe that it's maintenance. So I believe in it and having someone to talk to. But I had to get used to telehealth. That was interesting. And now it's just kind of second nature. It's like, oh, we're going to meet online. At first, it did take some time. But that was one thing I had for me every week. Because I talk to my therapist every week. And it's great just to kind of decompress and to have someone to talk to. So I had to get used to that. But that was also very helpful for me in this past year. For me, as I process, I also realized that I love working from home. I had never done it before, and it was a privilege, and it is a privilege to be able to work from home because I know not everybody has that opportunity during this time. But for me, I got to understand that I really like that. I like having being in my own space that I can kind of cultivate what I want it to be, looking at my own pictures. I don't have to worry about transportation, driving to campus. I live really close, but driving to campus, riding the bus, those kind of things. I enjoyed being in my own space and occupying my own time in a sense. Yes, I was checking emails and I was being in conversation with students and things like that. But it was still different. It was on my own time in my own space, and I started really enjoying that. I could, for lunch, for example, walk to the kitchen and make myself some lunch. I even made this fun little sign. And I live alone, so that's what my friends were like. You live alone? What are you talking about? But it was fun. It was just me having fun. So I enjoyed being able to do that and be in my space. You have to find a balance because when you're working from home, everything is like the office. So I did have to finally get a nice office chair so that my desk in my bedroom could be like my space because I only have a one bedroom apartment. That could be my office space. And then my living room was my home space. So I did have to find out that balance of because if I was working in the living room, there was never really any balance, never a stopping point. So it took me some time to find that and buy my own office chair, really fixing up my space in my bedroom, my where my desk already was. I had a desk but no office chair. Go figure. So I had to, invest in that, and that really helped with dividing up space in my home. The other thing I really had to think about is, and I think a lot of people just hearing other people have talking about this, is that you feel like you have to do more because there's so much going on. You're working from home, so I really had to find a balance of not taking all the burden of what my students were feeling, but then also just realizing that I couldn't work all times of the day, even because if I wasn't working every minute, I kind of felt I not kind of I did feel like I wasn't being productive, but I really had to give that up because the things that we're going through as a country and as a globe, as a collective in the world, it takes a lot emotionally, spiritually, and physically. So I had to eventually realize that even if you're not working every minute of the day, because honestly, are we working every minute of the day even when we're sitting in an office? No, we're not. I had to realize um, that it wasn't even any different when I'm at home and that I can't have that expectation on myself and to be hard on myself with those things. Eventually, we just moved into a new routine, all of us, as we had to shift the things that we were doing, whether that's working less hours, whether that's not having a job at all, whether that's working at home. We all came into a new routine. And I don't really want to say the new normal because normal because everybody uses that term. But we really did have to move into a new routine and what that meant for all of us, and I had to do that as well, and that was important for me over this last year. So now that it's been a year, I've been reflecting, and sometimes I find myself as anxious as I was a year ago because I'm thinking about, I was washing all of my fruit, I was sanitizing everything, and I was washing my hands, and I still do that, but it was like next level. I feel like last March, and I find myself doing that as the vaccine comes out and as states are lifting mask mandates. And but in my reflections and in these days as I'm thinking about to a year ago, I've realized that I've really just been going through the motions. I have a new routine, and in the midst of kind of reflecting and it being a year since we've been in lockdown, my friend messaged me and said, "Hey, there's vaccines available in our area." And it's taken me a little bit more processing because up until this point, like I said, I was going through the motions and I can't say that I've had any hope. I I haven't even given myself the opportunity to have hope in this last year. Like, I've literally, now that I'm processing the last year, I think I really blocked it out because I hadn't thought about what life would be like after the pandemic. It's going to be different, but I hadn't thought about it because we were so into it. And I thought it would be like May before I was able to get the vaccine just because of our area and our state. Um, but I've actually already gotten the first dose. And I'm still processing that. And for the first time in this whole year, I'm hopeful for what is to come after this pandemic. Like I said, it's gonna be different. It's gonna be different for all of us. I'm not in a rush to not be wearing masks. That's gonna be important. And to be honest, it's allergy season, so masks really help with allergies. Not only do they keep us safe, they also help us with allergies. So I'm in no rush to get rid of those because I know what they mean for myself and for the community. So for the first time in a year, I feel like I'm opening up space for hope. And I wanted to say, I hope that you all will begin to open up space for hope as well. I know we're in different levels of vaccine, if we want to get it, if we don't want to get it, what our states have available, what our countries have available. But I want you to think about in this 1 year anniversary of lockdown for the United States and other parts of the world, what it means to open up yourself to hope, what it means to open up to the possibilities that are going to come after this pandemic is over for us. And it may not be easy. It hasn't been easy for me. It's been a year, and I can finally say I'm hopeful. I see some hope, glimmers of hope. But what I want to say is that we deserve it. We deserve to see hope. We deserve to have hope in our life. I deserve it. You deserve it. We deserve it. And I did promise you all some pictures. So this was Spirit Week, March 2020. This is Pajama Day, Sock Day. This was Christmas in March. Did another one with my cute little scarf. And this was Twin Day, so I get my friend in Maryland dressed up with me. And then I had a week of Celebrity Week. This was Ellen. This was Oprah. I even had a video with you get a mask, you get a mask, you get a mask. My favorite was Maryland. It's my Maryland day. I really love this day. I took a lot of pictures this day. And next I had Niecy Nash, because I really love her. She's very fabulous and glamorous to me. And finally we have Beyonce. So she ended my Celebrity Week. And these were the only 2 weeks I really dressed up. And it was a lot of fun. I just did it for fun. I hope you all have enjoyed this. And again, I hope you all will find hope in our journey in the months and years to come. And if you haven't already, please subscribe, like, and comment. And see you next time.